Okay, it's the next day now. We've got some daylight. I've been looking at little Effie and I'm actually quite happy with her as she is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to powder her a little bit so that she doesn't stick on this side, and then I'm going to flip her over and I'm going to do the same thing on the back that I've done on the front. I will show some of what I do on the back, but not all of it, because you've obviously seen what I do on the front. So I'm using the matting powder. As I've said before, I recommend either Silicone Velvet or Sand matting powder. I use both. I can't say which one's in this pot at all because I've actually no idea. I just pick up whatever I've got in stock. I stock both of them in the shop. So if you want to, we also have some sample pack little envelopes of them. So if you want to try both of them out, I can. If you let me know, I can send you a sample of each. There we are. But I can't choose between them, to be quite honest. I think they're both wonderful. Right, so I've just basically matted her. You can mat in between coats with these powders, not with all the powders, but with these two powders. They can be painted over. So what you can do is, if you want to, you can mat in between coats just to see what the colours are like, because it does look a little bit different once it's matted. It doesn't change the colours, but because it's matte, obviously it does make the baby look a little bit different. So I'm actually really happy with her at the moment. Yeah, I'm really happy with her. So what I've done, so this is made what was a sticky surface, nice and smooth and sort of velvety. It's not obviously the final matte. I will paint over this and it'll become sticky again. But yeah, I'm really happy with her. So I'm going to flip her over onto her front and do the same with her back. So I'm going to, there we are, sweetheart. Now you can see the difference between, you know, the painted side and the flat back side. So at least I feel as if I've done something. So I'm going to do a new set of videos on the painting the back. So I'm just going to set that up now. Okay, so this is the end of this part of the video. Right, hello again. We're going to do the painting on the back of Effie now. I've powdered her lightly and turned her over so that she doesn't stick to the board. If I didn't powder her, she would stick to the board a little bit, and I don't particularly want to risk any of her paint coming off. So we're going to do the back. We're going to use the same system as we used for the front. Follow exactly the same steps. So I won't be videoing everything because obviously you've seen me do it on the front. Just the things that are particularly pertinent to the back, really. So I'm going to get going. So first of all, obviously, I'm going to mix up A and B. We're going to do the blue. Oh, I'll just give it a mix first. Some thinner. I'm going to add some blue pigment for the first blue layer. Just one drop. There we are. So like we did for the front, we're going to apply it with the applicator in a dabbing motion. Now I'm going to make sure that it meets with the end of the painting for the front here. I don't know if you can actually see on video where the front painting comes around and finishes, so I have to make sure that I blend it with that in all the colours I use. My main concern really with the back is that it matches the front. Okay, that's the blue done. I'm going to mix up the next layer, which is what I call pale grape, which is the crimson oxide with a little bit of violet. So where are we? This is the crimson oxide. I love this colour. This is a new colour by Sam, and it is such a useful base colour. Getting it all over my finger now. I'm going to do 2 drops of that to 1 drop of the violet when I've got rid of the excess. Where's violet gone? Come here, violet. Here we are. Right, I'll just do 1 drop of violet. Here we are. I've got pigment all over my fingers. Here we are. Definitely need to wash my hands before that crashing sound was my husband coming in his car and bashing into the garage doors, so maybe I should just go and sort that out, or at least go and have a look. Right, I'll be back in a minute. Right, that's all okay. Apparently it's a new way of stopping. The old way is to put your foot on the brakes. The new way is just to keep going until you bang into something like the garage door. No harm done anyway. I wouldn't mind, but the car has actually got a thingy on it that bleeps when you go near anything. I think he doesn't trust it. I think he thinks it's lying to him, so he keeps going. Anyway, right, so entertainment over. Right, so yeah, it's just the same again with the grape, the pale grape. Dabbing, dabbing, dabbing. And see how we go. Okay, so I won't bore you all by making you sit and watch me dab. I'll switch the video off and come back a bit later. Right, the next layer, or not layer as such, but the next coat is the suggestion of veining and shadowing. Like I did on the temples, I didn't do actual veins, I just did a suggestion of veins, and I'm going to do the same here. So I'm going to wet the area. I've got a bit of blue on my brush, so it's going to give a very faint blue. I'm just going to dab some of that off. Right, so I'm just going to basically leave it at that, really. I'm not going to do any more detail on veins. I don't particularly want a particularly veiny baby. So again, I'm just going to do a suggestion of some blue in the area where the veins normally are. The legs, maybe around the heel, a little bit of blueness, as you would just a teeny bit. Remembering that blue stains quite a lot, so we don't want to overdo it. I did do a little bit of blue inside the ball of the foot and the palm of the hand when I did the blue mottling layer, so that'll do. I'm just going to do a teeny bit of blue here because for depth, really, and maybe sort of where his spine is, where her. Why am I suddenly calling her him? Blimey. Right, I'm not going to do much more of the blue. I don't want to overdo it. Okay. Right, the next job is creases and wrinkles. So I'm going to again mix up some more paint. So what we have for this is some crimson oxide. Oops. Right, some burnt umber and some raw umber. So we've got burnt umber. And some raw umber. That's raw sienna. That's burnt sienna. Here we are. Right. This isn't the final detail of creases and wrinkles. It's just starting to place them, starting to work them up. We don't want to put a really heavy line at the end, sort of like this is a crease. We want to sort of work it up a teeny bit, and this is just working it up. Right. Okay, what am I going to use? A brush or an applicator. I think I might use a brush for this. Right. Most of the creases are the thighs and the bottom, so make sure that they match up to the creases that came round from the front in colour. Also the behind the knee bit is usually slightly darker. Just a little bit. Again, it's also it's just making sure that the line that comes around from the front continues and doesn't just abruptly stop because we've only done one side type of thing. We don't need to do any detail on the top of the foot because we've already done that. Do a bit of shadowing in the actual ball of the foot to make sure there's some depth, and also in the toes, between the toes. There we go. Obviously we'll be blushing the foot later. Alright, again these little wrinkles round the edges of the body, make sure that any that come round from the front continue round. Same with the hip. It's more of a shadow than a crease at the side, but we need to make sure it's there. And continues, and up the neck. You're probably seeing this baby excuse me, it's spinning round on this on this work table. These are absolutely invaluable things. These spinning painting tables, absolutely invaluable for doing this. I have got some in my shop. They're absolutely brilliant. For you can paint straight on them for smaller things. You can wash them under the tap, scrub them with a pan scourer to get any silicone off or anything, and they're just marvellous because you're not messing around touching your baby all the time. You can get to every single angle of the baby without even touching it, you know. Absolutely brilliant they are. So I've got some in the shop if anybody wants any. If anybody wants one. I have a few actually. If I've got 2 or 3 babies on the go, they all have their own turntable, so I just bring the turntable and pop it on my table, and then take it all away together, so I don't have to touch the baby at all. And I also have these boards. Thinking of getting some of the boards in the shop as well, because this board is absolutely perfect for in the oven, because it fits in the bottom of my oven without any trouble at all. It's just the right width to go into the oven. So I know that if my baby's on this, if I need to fast cure it, I can do. I can just pop it straight in the oven on the board. I don't have any of these in the shop at the moment. I could get some in if anybody wants them. Right, I'm just going to make that line there not quite as obvious, because it just looks like it's a brown mark, and I don't want a brown line in that area for pretty obvious reasons really. I'm going to go over it with a pink tint when I've got one of those out. But that's mainly the creases I've sorted out on the back there. Okay, right, what's next? The next colour is right, the next colour is lime green really. So I'm just going to go and wash my hands and have a good cough and come back and do that. Right, now for the lime green layer. Getting really close now, it's exciting. Right, put the yellow in first. A tiny little bit of blue. There we are, nice revolting lime green colour. Tidy that down. Right. Get rid of these. Right, I need there we are. Right, I think that's about right. And we start dabbing. Where's my dabber? It's amazing how just putting a light film of a different colour on changes everything that's underneath it. This is bringing out the blue underneath, and then when we put the magenta on after this, it just brings out all the colours. It's just amazing really how these weird colours do crazy things to the rest of the colours really, and the colours you would never think to put onto, you know, a baby, you know, onto flesh. You'd never think there was lime green in there, but it's weird really. Anyway, I'm going to do this off camera because you've seen me do the front part and you don't want to sit and watch me do the whole of the back again, and I'll come back when I've finished. The thing with this lime green is to not do it everywhere, to do it in patches. So don't sort of like do a covering sort of like where each dot touches every other dot. More just fairly randomly really. You don't want to change the whole colour of the baby. You just need to bring out some kind of freshness in some parts of it, if I'm making any sense. I love using this colour. This colour and magenta actually are weirdly my favourite colours to use, because it just makes the baby pop. Somehow. Obviously not going anywhere near the palms of the hands or the balls of the feet. We don't want we want to work up the pinks in those now, not the different depths. Right, okay, that's all I'm doing on that one. So I need to let that cure and then go on to the next colour. Right, I'm back again. I had to put some powder on her back because somebody was asking to see her. Oh no, I've gone and got pigment all over my fingers now. Somebody was asking to see her from the front, so I had to put some powder on the back so that she wouldn't stick. I'm just going to get rid of this pigment. Messy thing. So I'm going to do the magenta glaze now, as I said, and I'm sort of racing against the clock a little bit because the light's going to go in the next hour or so, and I want to get as much as I can done while I've still got daylight. So I'm going to do my little pot of magenta. There we are. Give it a twist. Put the colour in. Gorgeous magenta colour. Right. Dilute it a little bit. Most of these colours I'm diluting about 50%. So again, it's just so that it resembles sort of double cream type of thing. That's okay, I think. Maybe a teeny bit more because this is just going to be a wash or a glaze over the whole of the back, which is going to be a bit odd because the back is nice and powdered at the moment. So, but we haven't finished yet. So, okay, I'm going to get the fan brush I was using earlier, if I can find it. Here it is. Got it. Right. Okay, so I'm just going to start glazing it on. This brush is not brilliant. I'm losing the bristles. It's probably quite old. Either that or quite cheap. Yeah. Sure there are no drips. That's my main worry at the moment. There's nothing going to drip and collect because it won't look very good. remove any bits of fluff or brush bristles that happen to get stuck. Right, I've changed the colour of the salmon slightly because I wasn't terribly keen on the one that I used before. So I'm using a red oxide and a teeny bit of cool yellow in. It's still quite bright, but I'm going to dilute it down a little bit. Yeah, I think that's much nicer. I'm just adding little bits here and there. To be honest, I don't think there's much more I can do here really. I've given the bottom a bit of a blush and a few little blushes behind the knees, bottom of the feet, the neck, but there's not really anything else needs doing on the back. So I'm going to let this cure properly, then I'm going to give it a bit of a powder, and then I'm going to turn her back over again so that we can concentrate on the front more. I can still do I can do things like the nails when she's facing the front. Little bits off. The longer she lies here, the more she gets little bits on her. So I'm going to leave her to cure, and I think that's about it really. I think she's good. I'm very happy with her. Happy with the back of her. As I say, I'm going to turn her over, and I can do the rest of the front then. Okay,